Hey guys, it's Rachel Castile. Welcome to Mind Map Wednesday here at Typology Corner. This is where we untangle the patterns of your personality so that you can live with more clarity and alignment. And today we're going to talk about the real source of your stress. Not the obvious things like work or relationships, but the deeper wiring underneath it. So, in objective personality, one of the biggest drivers of stress is actually whether you're a double decider or a double observer, and then also how much you're overusing one side of your mind. So let's break it down. What does this actually mean in objective personality? So everyone is either a single decider, which makes you a double observer, or you're a single observer, which makes you a double decider. Your single side is where the imbalance shows up. This is about the first and the fourth function. So you have a cognitive stack. The first function, that's like your dominant gifting. And the imbalance, the hardest thing for you is that fourth function. So they work on an axis. So if you're starting with observation, then you have an observer at the bottom with decision maker functions in the middle. If you're starting with decision making at the top, your last function is also a decision maker with, I don't know if I said the same thing twice, with observation in the middle. Yeah, I think I said them both. So essentially, they're on an axis together. So the single side is the imbalance, but the double side in the middle, that is your gifting. That's what you're strong at, what you're balanced in. You can see both of those really well. So for double observers, that is the IP types and the EJ types. They are leading with a decision maker with observers in the middle, and they are gifted at seeing reality really clearly. They can see both the sensing and the intuition. They can map out chaos, systems, and shifting patterns without getting overwhelmed. Pretty balanced with the chaos, with organization, control, all those sorts of things. So they're seeing the full spectrum of what's going on in reality. Now, in contrast, our double deciders, that is the IJ types and the EP types, and they are leading with an observer process. So the imbalance is in observation, but the gift is double deciding in the middle. They are gifted with people dynamics. So they've got the thinking and the feeling in the middle, and whatever functions, whichever order, basically they can balance inner values, the identity with the outer tribe needs, being able to see the spectrum of the other people, where other people are landing on things, how people make their decisions, their personal decisions, and to kind of find a balance, kind of mediate between the two. So in turn, they're able to handle feedback, emotions, and group navigation better in theory than the other group. That is something that they can kind of move with. They can see like, oh, I'm being really selfish. Let me lean over this way. Let me think about the other people, and then, kind of balance out, whichever one is dominant. They still have a general awareness of the people dynamics, less people freakouts in a way, in comparison to the other group. So, but here's the thing, this is where it could go wrong. We generally overuse our gift, and then we avoid the side that we don't trust. So we wind up going really strong on our dominant. We're good on these middle two, but then that other side of whatever that last function is, that's the hardest thing for us. So we generally will struggle in whatever we're single in. So I've also got some visuals just to kind of take this out of Chinese and try to kind of show you what this looks like. So I've got a paper here for the single deciders, who is also the double observers here. And then I have one for the single observers, who are the double deciders. So again, single deciders is all types that starts with I and ends with P. So that's like 4 core types within that. And then the EJ types, all the different EJs, be it N or S or T or F right here. That's what the little X's are for. The EJ types are dominantly leading with a tribe-related decision maker process. These are single deciders, so they go all in on one form of decision making, most dominantly. And the IP types, they're going all in on the decision maker related to identity. So the most self-aware is the IP types, and then the most tribe-aware types is the EJ types. And in functions, that looks like TI or FI for the identity IP types as the dominant process. The EJs are either leading with TE or FE. So these single decider types, they are our double observers. So their gift is processing reality really well, not getting freaked out about those things. They're kind of not missing a beat. They're seeing kind of the source of like what's going on. They're reading the room really well. They're seeing everything. Like they're catching, they have a good filing cabinet of be it patterns or just memory, but also taking in and gathering what's going on now too. So they're kind of factoring in all things in the world of observation. Some practical type examples of what this looks like with the cognitive functions. I've got one IP type example, and then one EJ type. I did kind of a mirror type. So this is an NF and an NF type. So we've got FI, NE, SI, TE, and then the flip of that, the functions are flipped in the other orientation here. But essentially what they have in common is the gift of double observing in the middle. The INFP has SI and NE is what they're using, while the ENFJ is using the opposite axis of observation, using NI and the SE spectrum of observation. So yeah, they're super aware of those two things pretty well. That's their gifting as a double observer type. That's what that looks like. Kind of got that out of the view a little bit. So yeah, guys. Now next, let's look at the single observers, which is also our double decider types. So what that looks like, examples, we've got single observers, which is our double decider gifting. That is the IJ types and the EP types. They lead with observation first. So the life imbalance is the other observer down on the bottom. I kind of didn't talk about that on that one. So I guess going back a little bit, sorry. These guys, they are dealing with, at the bottom, the life struggle of the other decision maker. So we're going to get into it in the video, but essentially being a single decider means they have the other issue. The tribe is struggling with their identity. The identity types are struggling with tribe. That's essentially what that's like. So in contrast, our next group, the IJs, they're dominant organizer types. That can look different depending on if it's SI or NI. I had a really good comment. Someone said, they were like, as an NI type, I don't relate to being an organizer, but it's based on known patterns or known facts. So the pattern could just be something you're picking up on. You're almost not conscious of it, but you're living by the known box. It's the organized things that life has taught you, and you're kind of ordering your world based on what you've already observed. So it's past related, it's collected known information, be it abstract information or factual information. So being all in on this, the SI or the NI, you're an IJ dominant type, with that type of observation coming first. Or our other single observers is the EP types, with the dominant human need of gathering in new information, be it SE or NE information. The sensory five senses information or intuitive possibilities in the moment, what could be the imagination. The EPs are leading with this. And with having this dominant gifting as a single observer, that means in the middle, they are double decider types. Decision making in the middle, gifted with resolving people dynamics. They can mediate really well between groups. And two examples, we've got the ISTJ and the ESTP type. Again, I did a mirroring of opposite functions. So we've got SITEFINE for the ISTJ. For the ESTP, we've got SETIFENI. So they don't share any common functions, but in terms of preferences, it's kind of a flip of each other. And the gifting in the middle is the decision maker. So the ESTP is using TI identity process, and its tribe related process is extroverted feeling. The values of others, noticing that really well, between their own identity, their own reasons versus the tribe values, and being able to kind of balance between the two, see both perspectives. Still, if you're a standard ESTP, that means you're going to have a savior of the TI, but still you can do the FE well. You can see it, you're aware of it. It's kind of how that works as a balance between the two. For the ISTJ over here, we've got almost said savior, but not necessarily. So we've got the decision maker of personal values, FI, introverted feeling, and then the tribe function is extroverted thinking. So the reasons of the tribe, the collective versus the personal identity, my own values. If it's a standard ISTJ, you have savior TE. If they're the jumper ISTJ, savior FI, but still nonetheless, there's this awareness of being able to jump between, like, okay, make a decision based on the self, make a decision based on the tribe, and to be able to kind of balance out and see, like, hey, what that looks like. You can kind of see the perspective of the collective and the self, make a decision, kind of stay aware of the two pretty well, which leads to the life imbalance being related to the fact that if you're leading with an observer, the other observer category is hard to balance out. It's your biggest life imbalance. So for the organized type, the gathering is the hardest thing. Gathering in the new, for this example, the new abstract patterns and bringing in new information, thinking outside of the known facts, the memory, the tradition. That's like the biggest life gap. For the ESTP, it's the opposite. They're always gathering in, always taking in new information, and struggling to narrow down on, to pick a life path and to stick to it, to follow through, to know what they want, and like that their gathering is actually bringing in this other side of information as well. So different types of freakouts depending on which group you're in. So yeah, that's the visuals. I may bring them up throughout the video, but now I just want to talk more on the different giftings. So now let's talk about the double observers, which is the single decider struggle in life. So the double observer gifting. If you are a double observer, this is EJs and IP types. Your superpower is understanding the world. You read systems really well. You track chaos. You can stay calm when plans change or the structure breaks. But when it comes to people, that's the sticking point for your type. This is the single decider struggle. Having that one decision maker at the top, the other one way at the bottom, you're having people related kind of freakouts. So your brain gets stuck on identity. You spiral when you feel misunderstood, dismissed, or judged. OPS describes it this way: I'm stuck. I'm not allowed. This person is the worst ever. They don't understand me. No one believes me. This isn't fair. I need to leave and find someone who gets me. So it's this other group. It's kind of the you versus them fixed mindset. So yeah, it's easy for a single decider to get in the fixed mindset spiral of it's all about you versus them. Yeah, like it can be hard to kind of be vulnerable, to step out there, to say your piece, to be judged for your perspective. And it kind of depends, like if you're leading with the identity first or if you're leading with the tribe first, it might look a little bit different. For the tribe first type, the FE dominant or the TE dominant, it can be hard to step beyond the tribe and make a personal identity decision. It's like this could be consider it like selfish in a way. It's like, I made a decision for myself and I'm unfamiliar with this. Um, yeah, and like the IP type might struggle to um, have the tribe judge something that's very personal to them. They can just like isolate, take them out of their life completely, and like live in a way that like they don't even have to like get negative feedback, as an example. So it's like the hardest things in life is it's always related to people. The things that stand out to them generally when they're talking, it's like people related things. Kind of it shows up in their story. um but yeah, so that's the fixed mindset that can make you feel stuck, but truthfully you're not actually stuck. But you feel like you are, so you retreat into control. And the control, the things that you can control, is back into data, systems, and planning. That's the part that the gifting, the double observing, you can kind of like navigate the chaos. You can look at the data, you can look at the future, you can plan things. That's something that you can work with, that is more obvious to you. It doesn't challenge you. You can kind of stay in like the dominant, you can almost picture it. It's like the dominant fixed position of tribe, if that's what you're leading with, or the dominant fixed position of identity, and then the gifting of the information in the middle. But whenever you live this way, whenever you're retreating back into control, this is when your gift turns into a cage. It's really trapping you. You're kind of stuck in a fixed pattern that seems kind of, it gives you problems that seem outside of yourself, where it's like blame. These other people, they're my issue. This thing, I need to stay away from that. Um, yeah, it can kind of keep you focused on something that keeps you kind of stuck in the way that you're most prone to. So just know, it's your type, it's the way you're wired, and it's just your starting place. It's where you're starting from. We have our certain imbalances because of the type that we are, and yeah, your growth path is highlighted within your type. And next, now let's look at the double decider gifting, which is also the single observer. And the single observer struggle. It's really where your imbalance is. So if you're a double decider, your gifting is in navigating people. You juggle inner values and tribe dynamics really well. You adjust, relate, and move things forward. But when life itself feels chaotic, when the structure isn't working, or you're missing a plan, that's where the struggle begins. This is the single observer spiral. You freeze in uncertainty. You feel trapped in the unknown. Yeah, this is my type. So it can be like, where's the missing information? We can freak out over like, I can't see the pattern. I don't see where this is going. I need to know. I can't move forward because like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like the fear of the unknown is very real to us. That it can be hard to trust because like, I don't know what's going to happen. That's kind of like the EP. I'm an EP type. An example of that, if you're an IJ type, it could be the chaos. It's like, oh my gosh, somebody just popped up at my house. These things got thrown at me and it wasn't in the plan. It wasn't in my known information. Thinking more like the IJ story. So it's like, things just changed. I don't like change. Like, why did they just update how Gmail works? Why did they change? I don't even know where to find my button. Why did they reorganize the store? Like, why did Walmart just like move their aisles around? That's the control versus the chaos sort of freak out, where the single observers can like lose it. Yeah. So in OPS, they describe it like this. Why is this not working? Where did it go? This chaos is wrecking my life. I'm being controlled. I can't breathe. I've got to get out of here. So the EP can feel like controlled and hate that. Like, oh no, like they're limiting my options. They're saying I can only look at these things. I want to explore. I want to move around. I don't like that. I don't like that everything is fixed and everything's planned. I want to like move around and like gather more stuff. So it can show up in a lot of different ways. But yeah, so this is the fixed mindset around external reality that we can lock onto. I can lock on the detail and totally miss the pattern. Somebody could lock on the pattern, totally miss the detail. It can be annoyed by the other spectrum of information, depending on if you're a sensor or an intuitive dominant type. Loving the known information, loving the past, loving what's already been working for you, not liking that people are bringing in all these new ideas, trying to change things. Yeah, that's what that can look like. So instead of engaging with the unknown, the single observer has the potential of just resisting it. It's like, no, I want certainty and I want fast. I want what I can rely on. I want to move in the information that I trust, not the other one. I don't trust this little up in the air intuition. I want to know the facts. I want to know what I can depend on. That could be the sensor perspective. Yeah. So that's when your strength with people isn't enough because the world itself feels untrustworthy. This is the dilemma of us. It's like, yeah, I can see the people stuff, but the world feels unsafe. It feels like there's conspiracies. People are hiding information from me. People aren't telling the truth. That's the biggest issue. It's like people, they're concealing something from me. So yeah, we're prone to be conspiracy theorists in the sense of having these information freakouts. Compared to our double observers who are more balanced about those things, but having like people freakouts. So from there, what's the actual fix? How do we balance our systems? How do we balance our functions and not have these tidal waves and fearful moments that like make us run back into our ego, back into our patterns, what is safe, what is known, what is certain. So first off, this isn't about fixing your weakness. It's about supporting your strength. So if you're a double observer, it could look like not hiding behind your systems as much, letting your voice come forward, and think the double observer is the single decider. So they're having people related issues. So it's like letting your voice come forward. Trust that people can handle your heart. They can handle your experience, what you're going through. They can handle what you need to speak into something, like to not be like used by somebody. You could be in an agreement that's not actually good for you, but like struggling to speak up about it to change it. Like a double decider might more easily be like, hey, we need to like get a better compromise. Let's find something that could work between the two groups. The types that are single deciders might struggle to like speak up in a people related thing and like fix it. So yeah, let your voice come forward. Trust that people can handle your heart and don't hide behind your systems. You could just be in there on your grind, doing the things that you know you can deal with, the chaos and the control and like all the, like navigating the work that you're doing. But yeah, you might need to speak up. You might need to adjust some things. You might need to approach the people, have a people related conflict and resolve it. It's easy to avoid people related issues in that way. And just know that it's worth it. Sometimes it could be like maybe cutting people off, just realizing there is another option that you maybe could talk through those things. You can talk about where you stand on something versus the group and navigate that. It's pretty scary. Like, it's not my type, but I've seen it to be very real that this is, this is the harder thing to do. It's going beyond control. It's moving into the realm of like, this could go bad, but let's talk this out, So yeah. Now on the other side, if you're a double decider, these are the types who are leading with observation with the gift of decision making in the middle. It can look like loosening your grip on control. And this could show up for both types. So the IJ, in theory, is the more controlling type, but EPs could have a control swing where they're being really controlling because they don't want to be micromanaged. They don't want other people to control them, so they can start becoming controlling to try to prevent that. Because the EP wants freedom of flowing, like wanting to move around. They don't want to be controlled. But yeah, so loosen your grip on control. Also, get curious instead of locking in. That's kind of leaning into the IJ story of like, but it's so true for EPs. We can totally be super controlling. It's like how I've seen this in my life. It's like I really like exploring new things. I like having new experiences, but I could be stuck in what is known, like experiences I know I can trust as well. I've seen that a lot, that I'm not actually exploring very much because I'm living in a very fearful state, a controlling state, right? I can be paranoid about stuff like potentials that aren't even real, seeing futures that are highly unlikely and just not risking it. I don't want to go into that because, like, what if I fail? What if somebody makes fun of me? This is how I've seen in my own life, like, I've stayed away from the things that I love the most, the things that I really enjoy. I'm like, it's too risky because all these things could happen, these potential. It's like, as this SE dominant person who's so in reality, right in the now, I have this very inaccurate NI paranoia fears as my last function that I've had to face through exploration. As I start to move around and get new experiences, I'm like, oh, those fears are irrational. They're not actually accurate projections of the future. So yeah, get curious instead of locking in on something. What you know, what you can control. That could also look like as a high intuition type, like as a high sensory type, trusting the intuition, trusting your hunch, that other type of information. As a high intuitive type, it's actually going to look through the details, not just the assumption, not just the possibility or the pattern. Not locking in on one, getting curious with the other, exploring the other spectrum of information. Yeah. And then also move towards the chaos, and clarity comes after action. So yeah, that's huge. Move towards the chaos, move towards the potential, the thing that is unknown to you. And clarity will come after you act, after you go discover, after you move into it. This is relief for the double decider to get that balance of the other thing. It could look like getting new information that might prove an old pattern wrong. For example, you could be in a bad relationship where you went through a lot of abuse. You could be thinking that's going to pop up around the corner in new relationships, that like you just stay in that relationship, or you reject something good because it could potentially be the old thing. It's that need for like, I've got to go get new information so I can update this file or prove this pattern wrong. So this is why it's so important to loosen up on control in our lives, to learn new things. And sometimes it's being put in situations you wouldn't have put yourself in, going to something that it's scary to go to, and you didn't let anxiety or control stop you, and then now you're getting some new information in that is setting you free. So information freakouts. So ultimately, you already carry the gift. If you're a double decider, you have that gift. If you're a double observer, you have that gift. Like, flow in that gifting, do things with that gifting, help the world with that gifting. But now, create space for the side that you've been avoiding. That's where real relief actually comes from. That's where you start to live in more flow, more harmony with yourself, less fearful moments. These major spikes in OP, they talk about tidal waves. We have this tidal wave from the opposite side, where it's like, if you don't deal with that side, you can have these freakouts. This is how you can kind of discern what your type is, or whenever I'm typing people, you can hear the life full story where the freakouts were happening. and it begins to reveal the type that it's kind of that area that it's always been a hard thing. Every time I walked over there, it's like the thing I'm avoiding. And yeah, so it is a huge relief when you're able to incorporate that last function, find balance where you've been single, in terms of being like a single decider or a single observer, to get that other side where you're like, okay, starting to flow in all parts of what I am. Yes, you have a type. Yes, you have savior functions. You have demon functions. But yeah, how can they not be such a big life problem anymore? That's what we're looking at. So next, I want to look at, you're not broken. You're just wired this way. So I kind of already been talking into this, but ultimately, stress is a signal for you. It's not a flaw. Don't beat yourself up. You are your type. And when you're getting stressed out, it's telling you something. It's your nervous system saying, we've been overusing one side for too long. We need to look at the other side. You're feeling burnt out. You're feeling like just something's off. Like you're avoiding, like an example, it's like it's just hard to get this area moving in life. Like I've been jumping from job to job to job to job. I run into some issue. I have an issue with my boss. I leave that job. I go to another one. I jump to another job. Jump to another job. It's like looking at, like, why am I doing that? There's something I'm going in a circle on. I'm not passing that test. So I just keep going around the mountain over and over. So this is what it's looking at. It's like I'm overusing one side too much. I'm avoiding something that feels uncomfortable. I don't want to deal with being judged. That could be like a single decider sort of thing. But we all deal with these things. It's so all people deal with people issues, and all people deal with thing issues. But like, which one is the bigger life freak out? Is how you're seeing this in yourself. So yeah. So for me, when I thought I was having people issues, I was having more control and chaos issues. Afraid of being controlled by people, afraid of somebody limiting my options down, of telling me what I can and can't do, micromanaging me. That actually was a bigger issue of like staying free of that than me thinking I was having people issues. And yeah, me trying to control certain outcomes myself. So yeah, a bit of self-reflection in the middle of the video. But yeah, so it's your nervous system telling you something when you're stressed out. Listen for that. Don't beat yourself up. Discern what's going on, see where it's coming from. So yeah, you weren't meant to live only in your comfort zone. This is super true. The comfort zone is the savior functions. It's what comes natural to you. It's what's easy. It's what you feel responsible for. You were meant to flow between both sides, the side that you trust and the one that you avoid. So ask yourself, do I spiral when people don't understand me, or do I spiral when the plan falls apart? This is you hearing what your growth path is. Am I a single decider, or am I a single observer? Am I spiraling when people don't understand me, or am I spiraling when the plan falls apart? When what I want falls apart? Which one is the bigger life? Like, I can't deal with that. I have to make sure that doesn't happen. I gotta make sure I'm not being controlled. I need to make sure that chaos doesn't come in my world. I need to make sure that people don't misunderstand me. I need to make sure that I don't have any issues with the tribe by actually leaning into my identity. See? But yeah, your answer to that, it reveals your real growth path. Because the moment you begin supporting the weaker side, that's when the stress starts to melt and you finally come back into balance. That's what it's all about. That's the work of objective personality. That's the importance of knowing your type so that you can see what your growth path is. It's completely related to whatever your saviors are, what is coming first. And then also, the gifting in the middle, it's your superpower. It's you can mediate situations as a double decider really well. And then the double observer, you're able to come in, see what's going on in a situation, see the solution, solve the problem. Yeah, you can really like read reality really well. So I wanted to highlight the gifting. The gifting is just simply you got it. Like you got the secret sauce if that's what type you are. So that's the beauty of what you are. Never beat yourself up, never condemn yourself for the way you're wired. Also, don't envy the other group. Get more acquainted with what it means, like what that gifting is and how you can add that to the world, how you can help others. The single, let's see, the single observers might be really good at counseling because they are good double deciders. They can mediate really well. I guess I'm using it in a coaching context, but like maybe the single decider might be really good at like business coaching. It's like seeing all what's going on and like how to improve the business, how to improve the systems, how to do like they're seeing all of that spectrum really well, all of like the known information, gathering in the new, seeing the control and chaos, being able to flow with that really well. So yeah, in theory I could see like a good like a EJ or IP type like flowing with that. An example of like say diagnosing an engine or like car problems, an IP type might be really good at that. They are like seeing all the mechanics, how everything's working together, troubleshooting in that way. An IP might be a good tech support, or that can apply to so many different things depending on what your functions are. So I just wanted to highlight that. That's a beautiful gifting, whatever your type is. Celebrate that in yourself and add value to people. Bring that gifting to your social circles, and build one another up. So, yeah, so I celebrate that. And then also what imbalance you see in yourself, based on, are you a single decider? The single deciders is our IPs and our EJs. The single observers is our IJs and our EP types. Yeah, so if this helped you understand yourself better, let me know in the comments below. Do you relate more to double observing or double deciding? And then also which fixed mindset spiral hits you the hardest? Which one you can see in yourself that I mentioned before? That was the question of, do I spiral when people don't understand me? Or do I spiral when the plan falls apart, for example? And also just to start getting in the mindset of something that you can practically do to support your weaker side, the side that is easy to avoid. What's one step that you can discern right now that would help you begin working on that other side of yourself? If there's something you're like, I've been avoiding this conversation, I've been avoiding visiting this person, I've been avoiding trying a new job, I've been stuck in a job I don't really like, want to move, but man, there's so much unknown. So that control and chaos thing. Yeah, what's something you feel would benefit you? I'd love to hear it. If you feel free to share that, or something that, if you've already made some progress in this area, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Something that helped you break a cycle where you've been stuck for 10 years and then like you stepped out and you resolved something. Maybe you stepped out and actually talked to somebody you haven't talked to in 20 years. And you're like, wow, we healed our relationship. You know, that might be a single decider's life change where instead of avoiding the conflict, they went in and talked and now they've got a friend again. That's what this is all about. Finding that balance in the areas that are the hardest to do. And if you know someone who's been stuck in stress, send this video to them. It very well could be the answer for them to help them like breathe and have hope and find balance in their life. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, do so. Subscribe for more Mind Map Wednesdays. I talk about objective personality, how to find clarity and alignment based on how you're wired. Yeah. And like the video if you got value out of it. I love hearing that it did help you in a practical way. And also, it helps the algorithm, it helps the video get out to new people. So definitely like the video. I appreciate it. And yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.